a winter-like mid-April night here on the north side. WGN Sports on the U brings you Chicago Cubs baseball. The Cubs have returned home for a long 10-day, 9-game homestand. It's the first of 3 against the visiting San Diego Padres. Hi again, everyone. It is winter glove night. Appropriate. Bob Brindley and Led Casper with you. The wind is howling in off the lake, and as the Cubs start their second homestand of the year, let's take a look back at the first 15.
You know, Len, I think if we were going to issue a grade for the first 15, it would have to be incomplete because we haven't seen this team firing on all cylinders yet. Pitchers lead the majors with 130 strikeouts. However, they've walked a lot of batters, had a lot of deep counts. The team batting average is 4th in the National League, but they've been lacking that timely hit.
The Cubs are struggling with their starting pitching. Carlos Zambrano's been okay. The good news is he hasn't lost yet.
No, he hasn't lost yet. He was pitching a gem last time out for 5 innings. He shut down the Astros before giving up 5 runs in the 6th inning, but he won that ball game to run his career-high winning streak to 10 games.
So he looks for his 11th in a row. Tim Stauffer got their opening day nod because Matt Lato started on the DL. He looks for his first win.
Now, Stauffer went 6 innings on opening day, has not gotten out of the 5th inning in his next 2 starts.
So like the Cubs, the Padres come in 7 up and 8 down. Well, they just completed a 4-5 road trip. Some pretty big performances offensively. Starlin Castro did the job pretty much throughout that road trip. I will see how Big Z does tonight. Maybe he'll go deep again. Padres and Cubs next. From Comcast.
Tonight's game is available in Spanish on your SAP audio setting, provided by our friends Hector and Elio on WRTO La Tremenda, Chicago Spanish language sports leader.
Game 1 of a 9-game homestand, all against the National League West. Now Bud Black's Padres lineup. Will Venable will lead it off. Chase Headley, Orlando Hudson, Jorge Cantu. You have Nick Hundley, the catcher. Ryan Ludwig always does well in this ballpark, although he's off to a very slow start. Cameron Maben is in center. Jason Bartlett, the shortstop, and Tim Stauffer, the pitcher.
Let's check out how the Cubs take the field defensively tonight behind Carlos Zambrano. Brought to you by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. It'll be Soriano, Bird, and Fukudome across the outfield. Ramirez and Castro on the left side. Starlin Castro is rapidly becoming a lead story in Major League Baseball with his inspired play both at the plate and in the field. His double play partner up the middle will be Darwin Barney tonight. Carlos Pena once again at first base. Giovanni Soto doing the catching for right-hander Carlos Zambrano. Talked about his last outing down in Houston, was really cruising in that ball game. 5 innings of shutout baseball against the Astros. He hit a home run in the top half of the 6th inning, and I think he took his bat out to the mound with him because he ended up giving up 5 runs in the 6th inning, ultimately a 9-5 Cubs victory.
Umpires all bundled up tonight. The crew chief is Tom Hallion behind the plate. You have Bill Miller, Phil Cuzzy, and James Hoy on the bases. Well, it's cold here. We all know that. So how's it going in San Diego? 62 degrees. High humidity in San Diego. We'll be there in late September. Strong wind in Southern California at 1.
About a 1-mile-an-hour wind.
Will Venable will start it. Quick scouting report on the Padres, and it's not a big surprise. They pitch very well. They have struggled scoring runs. They lead the National League in stolen bases. They'll try to make things happen. And we are underway. A fastball strike to the left-handed hitting Will Venable. Zambrano coming back. That missed. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Team batting average of .217 for the Padres. As Len said, they're all about pitching and defense and finding a way to scratch and scrape and score a run or 2 for their pitching staff. Venable, a guy that can steal some bases. Orlando Hudson having a big year stealing bases. Also Cameron Maben hiding down there at the bottom of the lineup in the 7th spot, capable of stealing some bases.
A 2-1 offering. Big swing and a foul straight back. 34 degrees at game time. Wind out of the northeast at 12. That means it's blowing straight in from center.
Now you just don't figure the long ball certainly to be a part of the game tonight as Venable chases a high fastball for the first out of the game. This may be one of those nights you have to play real solid fundamental baseball. You're going to have to pitch it, you're going to have to catch it, and you're going to have to take advantage of every base runner you get in this game.
Now Chase Headley, the third baseman, a switch hitter. As you see, Zambrano's outing in Houston did get the win. Struggled right at the end of his performance. Gave up 5 runs in the 6th inning. Penn came on and settled things down. Low and outside. How about Z not wearing the long sleeve undershirt?
Yeah, I was just taking inventory, checking the rest of the Cubs defense to see if anybody else was going sleeveless, but everybody's got some form of undergarments on, long sleeves, blowing on their hand, just trying to stay warm out there in case the ball's hitting their direction.
The wind and the 2-2. It's outside on a fastball to fill it up at 3-2. Fans who came out were well prepared, but I'm sure a lot of people are happy sitting at home in their cozy living rooms watching us tonight. We're glad you joined us.
You know, actually, the Cubs are a little better prepared to come back to these kind of conditions than the Padres. They're coming from Houston, whereas we know it was probably in the mid-80s.
There's ball 4 on a close one.
the inside corner. Headley's a guy that has really struggled this year to get the barrel on the ball consistently. Told he's averaging about 1 broken bat per game, but that time Carlos couldn't get it close enough to have Headley off it.
That guy's right with Carlos Zambrano, going with the jersey and no long sleeves. Here's Orlando Hudson. Off to a very good start. He's reached base in all 15 of the Padres games, and at one time had an 11-game hitting streak. He comes in at an even 300.
And apparently has his legs under him in the early going this season. A perfect 6 for 6 in stolen bases so far this season.
Could not hold up. And it's 0-2. Zambrano's had a lot of success against the Padres. 7-2 lifetime. Last year gave up 1 run in 2 starts. Cubs should be pretty used to this weather because a lot of guys were out here about 2 o'clock taking extra hitting. And it was cold at 2. Be a little colder here at 7. See Jorge Cantu, cleanup man, is on deck. Quick throw to first. Runner back in time. Saw the Padres in spring training, and we pointed out that they lost their most potent offensive player, Adrian Gonzalez, when they traded him to Boston. They're trying to figure out a way to make up for that run production. Runner goes. The pitch is a ball. The throw in time, but Castro couldn't handle it. Like a little bit of a tailing throw by Soto. Castro got a glove on it, but could not catch it and apply the tag. It's 3-2 on Hudson, and Headley gets a stolen base.
Not very many guys run on Carlos Zambrano. Wasn't even that good of a jump. Unfortunately, it looked like Giovanni Soto just didn't get the seams on the baseball, and his throw tailed back into the runner somewhat. As you said, Castro was able to get a glove on it, just couldn't squeeze it. And that's the kind of offense that the Padres are going to have to utilize if they're going to have any success this year. They just don't have much home run power anywhere in this lineup.
That was the first stolen base of the year with Zambrano on the mound as Hudson fouls off another 3-2 pitch. As a team, the Padres hitting .217. Second to last in the majors. Long look at Headley. The kick in the next 3-2, and he struck him out. That's 2 in the inning.
Not sure if that's intentional from Carlos Zambrano, but that's a good pitch to use against this Padres offense. They don't have a lot of power. They do chase a lot of high fastballs, however, and this time a 4-seamer up above the belt gets the swinging strike.
Last year's National League Manager of the Year, Bud Black. Done a really nice job with the Padres. They came up a little short for the postseason, and in part because the Cubs beat them 3 of 4 in San Diego during the final week of the season. Earlier last year, the Padres engineered their first ever 4-game sweep at Wrigley Field. Held back by Cantu. And in fact, Bob, the Padres have won 10 of their last 14 against the Cubs, and they're 17-10 over their previous 27 in this ballpark. Cubs would like to change that.
Pretty good numbers in a very limited sample size. 4 for 9 with a home run. Cantu, a guy that has had great success against the Cubs, no matter what uniform he happens to be wearing.
He's been battling through a tonsil infection as he was a little late on that fastball. Zambrano strikes out 3, and the Cubs are coming up. Soft drink of Major League Baseball, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. The Cubs are ranked 5th in the majors with a .343 on base percentage. For instance, Carlos Peña's taken 9 walks. Unfortunately, hasn't hit a home run yet. Maybe that'll change tonight.
Take a look at the Padres defense tonight. Former Cardinal Ryan Ludwig in left field. Cameron Maben out in center. Will Venable in right field. It'll be Chase Headley at third. Jorge Cantu at first. Jason Bartlett, Orlando Hudson, 18 double plays so far this season in 15 ball games. Very adept with the leather out there in the middle of the field. Nick Hundley will be doing the catching tonight for the right-hander, Tim Stauffer. We mentioned the opening day starter, first opening day assignment that Stauffer has had in his career.
And here's man of the hour, the day, the week, the month, the season so far for the Cubs. Starlin Castro at a cool .418. Mike Quadian talking to the media before the game regarding Castro and Barney said, you know what, I'm just going to stay out of the way and let them do their thing.
I think that's a good approach.
He added that Castro has kind of aced every test. In a way, he was kind of protected in that 2-hole to start the season. Did very well there. That moved up to the leadoff spot. And he's been even better. I think the Cubs feel like no matter what they ask him to do, certainly offensively, he'll do it. That's low. 2 balls and a strike on Castro. The right-hander coming back. 3-1.
And we're seeing more and more of this as we get into the early parts of the season here. Starlin Castro being more patient. Yeah, I mean, he's always going to be a very aggressive swinger. He wants to go up there and make some things happen, but he's being very particular about getting good pitches to hit, especially up to the point he has 2 strikes.
Mentioned Stauffer made his first career opening day start. Matt Latos began the year on the disabled list. Probably would have gotten that nod had he not been injured. Latos had a sprained right shoulder. Bounced back to the pitcher. He lobs to Cantu for the out. Stauffer's been in this organization for a long time. Only Ernesto Frieri has been in their organization longer than Tim Stauffer. Talking with Bud Black before the game, he said it was a nice feather in his cap. Felt like he wouldn't be overwhelmed by an opening day nod. And if you go way back, Bob, to when he signed, and this is a story we have talked about before as Darwin Barney digs in. He got a lot less than expected. He was a first-round pick. He revealed he had a small tear in his labrum. So you give him a lot of credit for his honesty. It cost him a lot of money up front. Jason Bartlett will throw out Darwin Barney. I don't know how many guys would be that up front.
I guess Tim Stauffer figured he's going to make it up on the other end.
Yep.
And he just might well do that if he continues to pitch well for Bud Black.
Well, even if that hadn't happened, he probably still would have started on opening day, but his manager could not say enough good things about how Stauffer has handled his entire pro career. Marlon Byrd takes a pitch inside.
And Stauffer has a full complement of pitches at his disposal. You've seen that hard two-sinking fastball. He'll throw a four-seamer. He'll cut his fastball. He has a curve, a slider, a changeup. And depending on what's working on a given night, he could look like a completely different pitcher from one start to the next.
Swing and a miss. And it's 1-2. We are email accessible at LennonBob@Tribune.com. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. We'd love to hear from you. We want to know how warm it is wherever you are. Been bugging the guys at the production truck. Are you guys warm enough down there? 1, 2, 3 go the Cubs. Nothing after one. Underway here in the second. Catcher Nick Hundley at the plate. Everybody bundled up tonight. There's a strike, 1-1. Off to a very hot start. Facing Zambrano for the first time. ranks third among all catchers with a .356 average as a catcher.
And Nick Hundley may develop into a hitter that can provide the Padres with some pop in the middle of the lineup. He definitely swings hard enough to hit home runs.
Z's 2-2 just off the outside corner. Swing and a miss. That's 4 strikeouts to start the game for Zambrano.
And another Padre hitter that chases that high fastball. Was the book on this entire offense. A lot of guys who chase fastballs up above the belt. Hundley the most recent to chase a pitch up out of the zone.
Former Cardinal Ryan Ludwig, man, he just hits at Wrigley, hits against the Cubs, and hits against Carlos Zambrano. Going into that at bat at 125. Cub fans, make sure you check out our WGN Baseball blog on WGNTV.com. I have a post about the middle relief. 2 things. Marcos Mateo, number 1, happy birthday, turning 27 today. Number 2, Bob, he was 1 pitch away. I think the entire team feeling really good about Jeff Samardzija and Marcos Mateo. Samardzija with 2 scoreless innings in that game against the Rockies. Throw goes to second. Relay to first, not in time. Maben runs very well. So they get the force on Ludwig at second. And unfortunately, Dexter Fowler ended up with the game-winning 2-run hit in the 8th.
High chopper to Ramirez at third base, and as you said, Maben just runs too well, able to leg that one out. Very slow developing double play.
Now Jason Bartlett came over from Tampa Bay. His Wrigley Field debut, and he looks at a strike. Padres aren't really hitting, but they are getting a lot of production out of that 8 spot in the order. .411 batting average out of that 8 spot.
I'm sure Bud Black would like to see a little more production out of Bartlett. You saw his numbers, 167 batting average. He's only driven in 1 run all season long, but the reality is Jason Bartlett is not in there for his bat. He brought on here to play solid defense at shortstop. We mentioned this Padres team with a maximum of emphasis on pitching and defense, and Bartlett certainly fits that bill at shortstop.
He was an all-star in 2009 at .320 that year. That's a base hit. Good effort by Barney. Maben on his way to third. He'll get there. Throw gets away from Ramirez, and that'll allow Bartlett to get to second base. Bartlett got caught up a little bit between first and second. I don't know if Aramis would have had a play on him at first, but as it is, it'll be a single and then an error.
Past the diving Darwin Barney into center field. Marlon Byrd comes up throwing to third base. You saw Ramirez came off the bag when he saw the throw was going to be wide. He just didn't catch that one hopper, and that was what you spoke about. Bartlett caught between the bags. If Ramirez is able to come up with that ball, they probably picked Bartlett off first base.
The error is charged to Ramirez. And it is the pitcher Stauffer with runners at second and third. Sharply hit ground ball, but right at Castro, and he will get Stauffer. Padres leave 2 in scoring position. Still scoreless early.
Games from the Illinois Lottery. You keep living, we keep giving. $1,000 a week for life. The longer you live, the more you get.
You look pretty warm. You should get one of those suits, Bob. You'll live forever.
I'd take one tonight. Anything for an extra layer.
Ramirez, Pena, and Soriano for the Cubs, who went 3-3 on their season opening homestand against the Pirates and the Diamondbacks, and then followed that up with a 4-5 road trip. But again, they were tied in the late innings with a chance to go 5-4, only to lose late yesterday. Actually, chances to win both of the Sunday games in Milwaukee and in Colorado. That's deep left field for Aramis Ramirez, and it's going to be run down by Ryan Ludwig. We've commented in the past when Ludwig was a Cardinal that he played the best right field of any visiting player. Well, he's in left, and he just made a really nice running catch.
And I think because he has played so many games in this ballpark, he, more than a lot of visiting outfielders, understand how the wind is going to affect play on the field. He never looked back. He never checked himself where the warning track was. He knew with that wind blowing at the back of his neck that ball was probably not even going to get to the wall. Ran it down easily, never looked at the ivy.
Brings up Carlos Pena, still looking for his first home run as a Cub. Mentioned early, a team high 9 walks, so he's been very patient. Speaks to his .354 on base percentage in spite of the low batting average. You know, one guy who's not cold is Matt Garza. During batting practice today, he was screaming to all of his teammates, "It's just a mindset, fellas." In other words, just think your way through it. We're good. We're focused. We'll be fine. He was pumping everybody up around 4:30.
Well, he is nonstop. I'll tell you, on days he pitches, you kind of don't notice he's around. He puts his headphones on. He goes to that place that he needs to go to pitch effectively. But between starts, you can't shut him up. I'm surprised to even see him sitting down, to be honest with you.
By the way, having said what I said, he looked cold. 2-1 is bunted foul. Pena with that big pull shift put on, trying to find any way to get on base.
Well, we've seen some opposing teams bring the third baseman into the cut of the infield grass to try to protect against that possible bunt, but I think the Padres, they hope Carlos Pena puts down a bunt. They would rather have him take the single to the left side of the field and be on first base than take his chance of swinging a bat and maybe hit one in the gap somewhere.
Stauffer's 2-2, fly ball to right. Again, just not the night. Venable hauls it in. That's 5 up, 5 down for Tim Stauffer.
Hey, Cubs fans, if you want to manage the game along with Mike Quaddy, log on to WGNTV.com right now and click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and information while you're watching at home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape, pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and more. We need to get a hot tub up here in the booth. That's what we need.
And we have room where?
It'd have to be real long and real thin, real narrow.
Ground ball to Orlando Hudson, who gobbles it up, and a 1-2-3 for Tim Stauffer. If you can find room for a hot tub, let us know. Top of the order, a 1-0 count on Will Venable, who struck out to start the game. High fly ball, Marlon Byrd went back, now comes in about 6 or 7 steps to make the catch. Don't miss the action as the Cubs host the Pods tomorrow night here at Wrigley Field. Game time 7:05. But be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans get an exclusive limited edition Tyler Colvin bobblehead doll, compliments of Vegas. For more info and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Tyler Colvin along with veteran Reed Johnson. Headley walked and stole a base in the first inning. Pops it up.
Stay with it.
Yeah, somebody's got to catch it, and it's Pena. Carlos Zambrano looked at all of his infielders. At one point, he pointed at Giovanni Soto.
Everybody chase it until somebody can catch it. That ball was popped behind the mound initially, and the wind just kept pushing it closer and closer to home plate. I think that's why Z alerted Giovanni Soto, but Carlos Pena had a beat on it the whole way.
Well, to me tonight, and you mentioned it before, but Z should be able to live at the top of the strike zone. Just tell him hit it as far as you can.
Take your best hack at it.
Hudson hits a ground ball. And that's a very quick 1, 2, 3. We go to the bottom of the third. 0-0.
That's I Fight Dragons with the Power of Love, an old Huey Lewis in the News tune. That's our Bud Fan Cam. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds.
Foul tip. 1-1 the count on Kosuke Fukudome.
It's appropriate tonight.
I would say so. Feels a little bit like the North Pole. 34 degrees at game time. Since we've been here, I don't remember a colder game time temperature. I know that I think it was about 10 or 11 years ago when the Cubs opened the season against Montreal. It was very frigid here, but 34.
But it's a biting cold. We have that wind howling off the lake. I'm not sure what the wind chill is tonight. Maybe Mike knows. It's not 34. I know that.
How much snow did you have outside your window today?
Yeah, that was quite a shock. Woke up this morning and the top of the barbecue grill was blanketed with snow. It didn't last very long. It ended up melting pretty quickly this morning, but that was quite a shock looking out on the patio.
Ground ball up the middle. Bartlett able to cut it off. The spin, the throw. What a play by Jason Bartlett. That is a smooth play by the Padres shortstop.
We talked about it during his at bat. That's why he's here. Covers a lot of ground, especially up the middle of the field, and can make strong, accurate throws from a variety of arm angles. Long hop to Cantu at first base, just in time to get Fukudome.
Cannot.
Cantu.
Giovanni Soto hitting 8. Takes a strike. Karen checks in from Las Cruces, New Mexico. It's cooled down to 83. Our buddy Kyle Sussman in Bloomington, Indiana. It's 72 there. It's not that far away. Maddie from Sydney, Australia checks in 73 degrees down there. And Daniel Paleo says it's 68 in his house with no wind chill. So we appreciate the updates.
Thanks for rubbing it in. We really appreciate it.
1-2 pitch. Soto able to hold up. Would have to think the warmest position on the field is the catcher, right? Catcher and pitcher, since they're most involved.
I don't think there's any question about it. You're moving on every pitch.
The bouncer backing up Headley, and the Cubs get a break as that ball hit the lip of the grass and went right through his legs, and it's going to be a base hit.
It's a third baseman's biggest worry is that lip of the grass. You're never sure if it's going to take a higher bounce or in this case stay down. Headley just too slow to get the glove down there to the 5-hole, and it squirts through. That'll be ruled an infield hit.
Normally a ball goes right through your legs. That's an error, but you saw how big a hop it was. I think anybody would have made that play. Now Zambrano. All right, let me ask you this. Third inning. We know how Z likes to swing for the fences, but you think about a bunt here?
I don't, and only because the reality of this lineup is Zambrano is probably the only guy that has a chance to hit a home run tonight because he tries to hit home runs. He's going to take a big cut and either be way tardy on a fastball, maybe way out in front of an off-speed pitch, but of course he puts down a perfect bunt.
That'll go 1-3. Wrigleyville Rooftops has premier seating for up to 200 guests for corporate gatherings, family reunions, and bachelor or bachelorette parties. Individual and group tickets are available for all games. For more details, go to WrigleyvilleRooftops.com or call 773-248-ROOF.
And another factor why I would have let Zambrano swing away there. And of course, Mike Quaddy is the one down there on the field making the calls, so it's on him. But it's going to take a well-placed base hit to score Giovanni Soto from second base. Gio just does not run well. He's a good base runner, but he doesn't run quickly. It's going to take a very well-placed hit, but that's something that Starlin Castro has shown an amazing affinity for.
We'll see how they work to him with the base open and 2 outs. Average way down to 412 after an 0-for-1 start tonight. Mike Quaddy alluded to it the other day, and I asked you this same question. I think we've seen his patience grow just a little bit at the plate, and if that happens, all these pitching staffs are going to have to go to plan C because they're already on plan B, which is to try to get him to chase a pitch like the first 2 we just saw.
And I agree with you 100%, Len. His patience has grown leaps and bounds since we left Arizona. Very aggressive down in the Cactus League early on this season. He was very aggressive, may have swung at a pitch like that, but as he has narrowed down his strike zone and gotten more and more base hits, teams have refused to throw him strikes. Stauffer just nibbling away at that outside corner. Good take.
Where he remains ultra aggressive is with 2 strikes. That's where he really expands his zone and knows that he can pretty much at least foul off any pitch. Gets the green light on the 3-0, and he's going to bounce out to Bartlett to end the inning. Cubs get their first hit, but still not on the big board in a scoreless tie. Pitchers duel early on. A frigid night at the ballpark. Wind howling in from center. As Carlos Zambrano starts Jorge Cantu with a slider for a strike. Cantu yesterday in Houston hit his first home run of the year as he waves at that slider. 0-2. Cantu was born in McAllen, Texas. His family moved to Mexico when he was a week old. Ended up signing with Tampa Bay as a 16-year-old in 1998. Finished high school in Texas in the baseball off seasons. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN-TV is sponsored in part by Mega Millions and now Powerball from the Illinois Lottery. Tuesday's Mega Millions jackpot is $12 million, while Wednesday's Powerball jackpot sits at $56 million.
Ball 1 to the catcher, Hundley. 5 punch-outs already for Zambrano. And a base hit. Pena was playing way off the line.
Conley really coming into his own in the early part of this season with the bat. Also, his skills behind the plate, we are told, have improved significantly. Throwing much better, moving a lot better on pitches in the dirt. He still has the occasional tendency to push borderline pitches out of the strike zone, but Usually that subtlety, receiving the ball, is one of the last skills that a catcher gets at the major league level.
Ludwig is 1 for 1. Again, a good matchup for Ludwig. Since he was traded from the Cardinals to the Padres, his offense has almost totally disappeared. Last year he hit .211 in 59 games with the Padres, and right now at 143 through 49 at bats.
I think it had anything to do with the hitters that surrounded him in that Cardinals line.
It might have, although I'd have to think he seemed to recall he hit right near Adrian Gonzalez.
That's true.
They have a huge ballpark, certainly favors the pitchers, but this guy's paid to hit. And they're going to need a pretty big offensive season from Ryan Ludwig if they're going to contend. That was a strike. Actually, Bob, you know, Ryan Ludwig's career did not begin with the Cardinals. He had bounced around a lot. Really, the only place he's hit has been St. Louis. He was with Texas and Cleveland before that. Really didn't play a whole lot in the major leagues, but he came into his own when he became a Cardinal. 3-2. Best year was 2008. 37 homers and 113 knocked in. Runner goes and a check swing pop up. Pena's going to catch it. That'll be an easy double play, and the inning is over. Boy, that was bizarre. Cubs will gladly take it. Honor the Ricketts family on Thursday, May 19th. The special dinner includes a ballpark tour, a chance to play catch and hit in the batting cages. All proceeds will benefit JDRF. For more information, go to jdrfillinois.org. As the 0-1 to Darwin Barney, that's in the dirt, low and outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Pretty neat deal. Coy Hill has designed some T-shirts in honor of Ron Santo. A lot of the players and members of the front office staff are wearing them. Play with passion like good old number 10.
How appropriate.
A pop-up for Cantu at first. It's kind of a weird segue, but did you see the story about Mike Leake?
Yes, I did.
Cincinnati Reds. A developing story. He was arrested and charged with shoplifting at a department store in downtown Cincinnati. He was accused of trying to steal 6 shirts valued at under $60. And the last thing I saw, Reds trying to get details, and they had no immediate comment.
Kind of makes you just scratch your head a little bit. I mean, what kind of shirts is he shopping for?
American Rag shirts at Macy's.
Here we go.
Sounded like they were on sale to begin with. Well, he's 2-0, but has a 5.40 earned run average. Marlon Byrd bounces to Bartlett.
Lindsay Lohan wasn't spotted in that department store, was she?
I don't believe so. Side to Ramirez. That one missed. The top 3 guys in the Cubs order have combined to go 0 for 6, and nobody among that trio has hit the ball out of the infield. That's how good Stauffer's been. 3-0 now to Ramirez. Stauffer wants a new baseball.
And this is really the first time Stauffer's had issues with the count. He comes as advertised. We were told he's a real disciple of Bud Black's, pounding the strike zone. That's something they try to have all their pitchers do on a nightly basis. Just pound the zone, let their defense work behind them. That's the first walk of the game. Stauffer also does not have a strikeout in this game, so he has been throwing the ball over the plate and letting his defense work.
First baseman Carlos Pena.
They go from the exaggerated shift on Carlos Pena with nobody on base, where they have 3 infielders on the right side, to this alignment where Orlando Hudson is the only guy on that side of the field.
Hit well, but right at the right fielder, Venable. 0-0 at the end of 4. Fifth inning, 4 hits combined, no runs to this point. Cameron Maben, big swing and a miss, 1 ball, 1 strike on the Padres center fielder. Long stretch of games against the National League West, 3 weeks in all, starting with that series at Colorado. Dodgers will be in. The Rockies also come here, and then the Cubs head off to Arizona and LA. On the hands and fouled off. So long homestand, 3 teams are in. And how about that homestand coming up in early May? The Reds, the Cardinals, and the Giants. It'll be a big one.
You hear the word yardstick series used a lot this time of year for teams.
On strike 3, that emphatic call by Tom Hallion. 6 now for Z.
Hammering away at that strike zone. No reason to nibble tonight, even though that pitch is just off of the outside corner. Close enough in the estimation of Tom Hallion, who indicates such to the people in the front row behind home plate.
I think the Cubs just played one of those yardstick series, and they were again maybe a hit or 2 or a pitch or 2 away from taking 2 of 3 from the Rockies. They're in a big series. They play the Giants. The Giants got 5 runs in the first inning off Esmail Rogers. Tim Lincecum on the mound for the Giants. Burrell and Sherholtz hit home runs in that opening inning, so it's 5-0 in the second.
Said Pat Burrell hit 1 tonight. I believe that gives him 5 on the season, if I'm not mistaken, tying him with Alfonso Soriano for 3rd in the National League.
The Rollers surrounded by Castro, throws off that back foot and gets Bartlett by a half a step. Hey, Chicagoland viewers, how would you like to win 5 $5 footlongs from Subway? Just be the 500th texter to text Subway to 97999. Go to WGNTV.com for complete info and rules. Pitcher Stauffer grounded out with runners at second and third in the second, and that ended the inning. Z normally works fast, but on this very cold night he seems to be working even faster. He's been very effective. Maybe he has a short sleeves. It's more motivation to have a quick inning.
Get back in the dugout.
Yeah. Don't want to be too comfortable out there. I'm sure the teammates of both of these starting pitchers have appreciated that, at least on defense. Three-2. Another bouncer to Castro. Padres done in the 5th. We go to the bottom of the inning. No score.
time. Here we go.
Well, still a long way to go, but you kind of get the feeling that 1 or 2 runs might be all you need. Pitcher-friendly atmosphere. By the way, Tim Stauffer faced the Cubs last year in San Diego on September 27th. The Cubs won the game 1-0. Carlos Zambrano got the start for the Cubs that night. 1 strike to Alfonso Soriano. Fukudome and Soto also due up this inning. If anybody gets on, Zambrano will get a chance. That caught the outside edge. 0-2. Swing and a miss. That's strike 3, and that is the first strikeout for Tim Stauffer. Take the Cubs with you wherever you go this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Cubs game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit Cubs.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Stauffer, the 4th overall pick out of the University of Richmond in the 2003 draft. Born in Portland, Maine. And now makes his offseason home in San Diego. It's got to be a pretty long flight from Maine to Southern California.
It's just about as far as you can go.
Back Kosuke off the plate, but caught the corner, and it's 1-2.
A rare changeup that time from Stauffer. He has basically just used that tailing, sinking fastball and an occasional slider when he's been ahead in the count, but tries to get Kosuke to nibble on a changeup. You can see that downward movement as that pitch got into the hitting zone. This is the kind of night you don't want to trick yourself out there on the mound thinking you've got to incorporate all your pitches into your arsenal. If you can throw that sinker for strikes and mix in a breaking ball, you can be effective tonight.
Hudson's just going to hang on to it. Four-time Gold Glover knows sometimes when to just hold on. It's an infield hit.
Well placed infield hit by Kosuke. Came on a sinker inside part of the plate. Got a big hop on that hard dirt out in front of the dish. That got it over the head of the pitcher, Tim Stauffer. And Hudson realized he wasn't going to have a play at first base, so why risk an errant throw?
Stauffer without a win in his first 3 starts, and as Bob mentioned right off the top, last 2 times out, unable to get out of even the 5th inning. Fukudome, the runner at first, 1 out. And a 2-1 pitch with the runner going, and that ball is hit foul past first. That would have been fun.
Well, I'd like to see Mike Quade pushing some buttons here. We've talked repeatedly tonight how cold it is. The home run ball figures to be absolutely no factor here tonight. And anytime you get a runner on those bases, you're going to have to try to do something to chase him around there, whether it's a stolen base, a hit and run. We saw Zambrano put down a sac bunt in the third. Runners are going to be at a premium, and therefore runs are going to be at a premium tonight.
Called strike 3. We're out number 2.
Good movement. That one just got back to the outside corner. Tom Hallion once again. He's the Louis Tion of umpires.
Make sure you check out our weekly podcast. It is available on WGNTV.com. We talk about the young guns, Castro and Barney, Casey Coleman. We also talk about all the fun food we had while in Denver. Big swing and a miss. 1-1.
I don't believe we serve Rocky Mountain oysters here at Wrigley, do we?
No, I don't believe so.
It's a good thing.
Although, if you go to the Cubs and tell them they were that good, they might consider it. Hello, Bob.
That's not going to happen.
Is your microphone on?
That's
okay.
not going to happen.
I don't think you gave him a chance.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
just my opinion.
I gave him a chance. I chewed that thing for 10 minutes. Like a pencil eraser.
Got him on the inside corner to end the inning. Cubs will finish up this series with a night game tomorrow and a day game Wednesday. We're on WGN 1 o'clock for the leadoff man. Friday is the LA Dodgers come to town. That's the Cubs' upcoming schedule, brought to you by Lincoln. Top 3 for the Padres. Will Venable has struck out and flied out, takes a strike.
Dodgers with the leading hitter in the National League right now, Matt Kemp, going into play tonight, hitting .474, leading the National League. Andre Ethier in 6th place at .377.
Look out, that ball scalded foul to about the 4th row, right next to the Cub dugout. It's 0-2. want to mention, nice job. The $1 Million Quartet sang the national anthem tonight. We'll be playing at the Apollo Theater through September 25th. Just get Will Venable. That goes 3-1. Go to $1millionQuartetLive.com for more info.
There might have been a little confusion. It looked like Pena was going to take it himself, and then at the last instant just shovels on to Zambrano, who barely got that big right foot down on the bag ahead of Will Venable.
Headley takes ball one. Inside corner and a strike. Well, two very confident starting pitchers have, for the most part, placed the pitches right where they wanted to all night. Good look from behind home plate. That one bounced in front of the dish. 2-2. The Red Sox finally heating up. They won their third in a row today, 9-1 over the Blue Jays at Fenway Park. Daisuke Matsuzaka, with 7 innings, gave up 1 hit. In fact, he combined with 2 others on a 2-hitter called strike 3. 7 now for Zambrano.
Hammering away at that strike zone. Big Z's only thrown a few sliders and a couple of splitters in this game. He's mostly relying on that tailing two-seam fastball and an occasional cutter. Boy, this is the kind of night for any pitcher. Just attack the zone. Challenge the hitters to hit your best stuff.
Backhanded by Castro. Gets rid of it in a hurry and gets Hudson by a mile. Bottom 6. Still waiting for that first run.
Right here at Wrigley Field. Be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs reusable tote bag, compliments of Pepsi. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
Starlin Castro, base hit, right field.
It's about time. He went 2 whole at bats without a hit.
First time the Cubs have put the leadoff man on base.
The plate, second baseman, Darwin Barney.
Fastball up and over the plate. Once again, gets the barrel on the ball. Hard line drive into right field. Will Venable had to come over and cut it off, keep it from going all the way out there to the track. Leadoff single for Castro. Let's see what we do now. Barney handles the bat extremely well. A good bunter, good hit and run candidate.
Already squaring as the throw goes to first. Takes a slider outside for ball one. Now, the way Barney's been swinging the bat, you like him to swing the bat, but tonight is a different story because of the conditions and just how important one run can be. There goes Castro, and it was a little hit and run action. Barney in protect mode and taps it foul. Sometimes you have that run and hit where the batter has the opportunity to swing just in case, but that swing looked like a hit and run.
I think you're absolutely right. Castro on his break for second took a quick peek back to home plate to see what was going on there. I like that particular play, Len. I like showing bunt on the first pitch, get that defense charging, anticipating a bunt, and then go to the hit and run.
Stauffer made the throw, but Barney was already called out because he went out of the baseline.
Perfectly deadened down that first baseline. Stauffer the only person to make a play. You see Barney a little bit of a right turn there, trying to avoid a potential tag, and was called out immediately, but got the job done.
A couple of shots here to get that go-ahead run to the plate.
Talked about it in the open of the show. The Cubs are hitting for a high team batting average. However, they have not been able to come up with enough timely hits. Oh, for a timely hit right now.
Slide and block by Hundley, 1-1. You always say there's never a bad block in a situation like this. Keep that guy at second base.
I used to use the umpire on occasion. I'd let it go through my legs and hit the umpire's shin guard. Any way you can keep that ball in front. Now, there's definitely a style and a form you like to see from a catcher, but as long as you keep that ball in front, no such thing as a bad block.
In the air, and again, that's where both pitchers want guys to hit the ball. Castro tagging and on his way to third, and he'll get in. There are 2 outs.
May have been kind of casual as he went back on that ball at the last instant. He tried to get a little momentum going toward third base, but Starlin Castro very alertly realizes he can tag and advance 90 feet. This is a battle 90 feet at a time tonight, just trying to get a runner on first base to begin with, find a way to move him up to second. Castro on third base. Now for the big hit.
The other benefit of Castro getting to third, a wild pitch, pass ball, something that gets by Hundley, will give him a great chance to score. Kick and the pitch. Pitcher strike on the outside corner. That's where Stauffer has lived all night. Saban went back. Now Camp's under it. And the Cubs strand that go-ahead run 90 feet away. Off to the 7th. 0-0. Seventh inning. In a scoreless tie as Jorge Cantu takes a slider low and outside. At this point, this is, or would be, the Cubs' first quality start in exactly 2 weeks, with Zambrano's outing not yet finished. The Cubs' 4th of the year. It's Cantu. I don't think he knew where he hit that ball. He kind of looked around. He hit it right off the end of the bat. Ended up just beyond the Padre dugout. Apparently, Bob, every person they asked to sing the stretch couldn't make it tonight. So I have been recruited.
All right.
To conduct Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Another foul by Cantu.
Well, I will be right here for moral support. Not oral support, moral support. I'm not singing with you.
You will be heckling.
Yes.
Swing and a miss. Got him on the high fastball.
Well, do I have to interview you after you're done singing?
Only if you want. Hey, fans, don't miss your chance to get the Best Buy pack here at Wrigley Field. 4 tickets, 4 drinks, 4 hot dogs starting at just $40. The Best Buy pack is available for all April and May dates, including the series against the Dodgers, Cardinals, World Series champion Giants, and more. For more details and to purchase your Best Buy pack, visit Cubs.com/Best Buy pack. Well, I'm going to try to make a bit of a sartorial statement with my Tom Skilling Snuggie. I thought it would be appropriate. In a 34-degree night. I tell you, it's warm. It works.
I hope it's warm.
I should add my personally autographed Tom Skilling Snuggie. 2-2 on Nick Hundley. Winter glove night tonight. Good timing.
We have winter scarf night coming up Wednesday.
Called strike 3, number 9 for Z. 3 off now, his career high of 12.
front door slider. Started inside off the corner, came right back and nipped that inside corner. Freezes Nick Hundley. Probably not the location they were looking for. You could see Gio would set up on the outside corner at the knees, reach back across the plate to the inside corner to get the called strike 3.
Big swing and a miss by Ludwig. Oh, 2. The slow curveball that time.
It's a good pitch, changing up on your breaking ball from time to time, but you could see Zambrano after the pitch really frustrated that he didn't finish, didn't get out in front where he wanted. Left that breaking ball up and in on the pitch before, comes right back with a fastball. He's just feeling it tonight. I mean, why wouldn't he? This is a great night to pitch. Just able to get a piece of that splitter to stay alive.
I think the crowd is excited for Z or for the stretch. They're on their feet.
I'm sure they want to hear you sing. They'd love to see Carlos strike out the side, but I think they're anxious to hear you sing. You know the words.
I think so.
Okay. It's Wrigley Field, not Wrigley Stadium. Ooh.
He wanted that one, got it up to 93. Let's see where Pitch Tracks had it.
Yeah, that was more of a four-seam fastball. Didn't have the same kind of tailing action that he gets on his sinker.
Got him! Stretch time.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, Cubs TV play-by-play man Len Casper.
On this winter night in April, all hail the Tom Skilling Snuggie. Who's with me? A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root, root, root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it makes you out at the old ball game. Let's get a run. Go Cubbies. Bottom of the 7th. To say Carlos Zambrano was a pretty good opening act. the top of this inning.
We got him warmed up with 3 strikeouts in the top half of the inning.
Nothing better than singing the stretch with the crowd already on its feet. Zambrano struck out the side.
They'd have cheered if you burped it. You know, you didn't even have to know the words.
How do you know I can't do that? Might have to try it.
And I like the way you tag the song. Let's get a run.
That's all it takes. Just one. Each team with only 3 hits to this point. Pena and kicks foul. You know, the Padres have done something we've talked about. They have moved Chase Headley, the third baseman, over on the other side of second. They've left their most athletic infielder, the shortstop, Bartlett, right where he is. We've talked about this idea in the past. There are 2 schools of thought. One is do what they've done and only move one guy out of position. The other idea is, well, you think Pena's going to hit it to the right side, so put your shortstop over there. Cubs did this in spring training with Jeff Baker once.
I personally like this setup myself. I think the shortstop is the guy that's obviously going to have more range than your third baseman. Oh, that's going to work.
Perfect.
Yes.
That was a thing of beauty. Well, the first one did not make the Padres change their alignment at all.
And this time Pena doesn't try to be so fine. He realizes all he has to do is get it past the pitcher. If you can take Tim Stauffer out of the equation, there's very little chance that Jason Bartlett could charge from the position he started in and get Carlos Pena at first base.
Big swing by Soriano, and he fouled it back. How about a night like this? I know generally guys are just trying to hit the ball hard someplace. Do you literally change your swing, especially if you're a fly ball hitter like Soriano, or is that dangerous?
It's a hard thing to do, number one. You know, guys do what they do, and Soriano's a guy that has a little lift in his swing, hits a lot of fly balls. I mean, ideally, you shorten up just a little bit, try to focus more on making solid contact and hitting line drives, but I think most hitters try to do that every at bat.
So far tonight, in the air has been Outsville. And the wind continues to blow very hard straight in. Soriano chased a pitch way off the plate for strike 3.
Hey, fans, watch the Cubs take on the Rockies on Monday, April 25th at 7:05 right here at Wrigley Field. Be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 adults 21 and older will receive a Cubs washed cap, compliments of Bud Light. For more information and purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
Kerry Wood is up. The pitcher spot not too far away. There's a bouncer. They'll get one, and that's all. Sure looks like Kosuke's hamstrings back to 100% as he got down the line quickly.
It looked at Colorado like Kosuke really picked his spots to turn it on. I know he hit one routine grounder at second base one time and probably jogged about 70-75% down that first baseline, but when necessary, I think he is as close to 100% as he's going to be with that hamstring. He was able to get down the line very well that time.
Here's a pitch to Soto. Ball 1. Blake DeWitt on deck in Zambrano's spot. Doesn't mean he's going to hit, but he is on deck. ground ball, and I think time was called because a ball got out of the Cubs bullpen.
Yeah.
Bud Black's going to argue this, but he had two baseballs on the infield. One was headed toward home plate. The other one was hit on the ground to third.
Yeah, the first base umpire, Bill Miller, was the first one to spot the baseball rolling out of the Cubs bullpen, and he calls timeout. Well, you see the first baseman actually called for it first, but Bill Miller was calling timeout before that ball was put into play. You can understand why Bud Black wants to try to argue his case right here to get out of the inning. But most of the arguments you have with the umpires, this is going to end up with Bud going back to the dugout and the pitch being thrown once again.
Well, maybe a nice strategic miss by one of the Cubs bullpen catchers, either Edgar Tovar or Andy Lane. Soto hits a home run here. I think those guys are going to have dinner bought for them.
Temperature will go up in that first base dugout quickly.
Fouled into the upper deck. Chicago area native Luke Gregerson and Pat Neshek, the funkier of the right-handers, on the right. Stauffer's spot due up third in the top of the eighth, so this is undoubtedly his final inning, no matter what happens. 3-1. There's DeWitt on deck. Two. Deep breath by the pitcher. Runner goes on the 3-2. Pop fly, shallow right, and it's Venable for the final out. So still no runs on the board through 7. Tommy Skinner. Kenny Lyle way out in center. Mike Clay downstairs.
He's in there somewhere.
And somewhere inside there's Jim Tianis. Joe Paws back. Focused on his craft. No time to smile. He's working hard.
That's right. Focus, focus, focus.
Cubs baseball brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Well, the pitcher spot never did come up. So Zambrano starting the 8th. And Bob, it might be snowing.
Wouldn't surprise me a bit.
And it's not a big surprise considering we're right around the freezing mark, but it's not snowing in our production truck. In fact, I heard they just turned on the air conditioning.
You guys need an iced tea or something? Cool off down there?
Yeah, you can see some of the light precipitation, and it looks like snow. Might not even be making it down to field level. And you know what? It snowed last night, so that shouldn't be a huge shocker. 1-2 on the way to Maben. Fukudome. 1 out. There's Mike Adams. He will get the bottom of the 8th as they will pinch hit for Stauffer after Bartlett bats. His former team shut out the White Sox. Tampa Bay 5, White Sox nothing a final. David Price over Edwin Jackson. As the White Sox have dropped 5 straight. Fukudome gets another opportunity over toward the line, and he makes a catch in foul ground.
We talked earlier about Ryan Ludwig as far as visiting outfielders go, playing a solid right field here at Wrigley. And Kosuke Fukudome in his time here has really learned how to play the angles, play the wind. Nice running catch with very little room to spare after he crossed that foul line.
Now Brad Hopp in a pinch hitting spot, and he has struggled mightily against Carlos Zambrano. Might have been the reason why he wasn't in the lineup to start with. 1 for 12 in his career. Zambrano has been excellent.
You know, Lennon, we always pay a lot of attention to the pitch count, but this is the kind of night that 106 pitches will not take nearly the toll under these conditions on a starting pitcher as if he were pitching in the middle of August with a 95-degree, 95% humidity day. Carlos looks like he's as fresh as he was when the game started.
It's a 10-game winning streak on the line tonight, the longest by a Cubs pitcher since Rick Sutcliffe rattled off 16 in a row in '84 and '85. According to Elias. I'll tell you one thing, if you don't give up a run, you can't lose. This will be charged as Castro gets set, throws, and that's it. Zambrano done. 8 shutout innings. after 7, gave up 4 hits, walked 1, struck out 4. Carlos Zambrano with the best start by a Cub pitcher to date this season. 10 strikeouts, only 3 hits allowed. Visit your local Honda dealer today to test drive the 2011 Honda Cross Tour, available with 4-wheel drive. Here's Mike Adams.
Cutter, 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 cutter. He will throw an occasional two-seam fastball with a little sinking movement, but lives and dies with that cut fastball.
Well, Blake DeWitt batting for Z. Fly ball to center. Well, some nights in the middle of the summer here, actually on the first homestand, we had the wind blowing out, where a ball like that in the air, you kind of jump out of your seat. But tonight, you just assume it's an out.
Probably not going to be much in the air unless you can split a gap or hit the ball down the third or first base line. But anything with any elevation to it whatsoever, probably going to get knocked down and end up in an outfielder's glove. Well, this just has the feel of one of those ball games that's going to hinge on a mistake, either a mental error or a physical error. Don't anticipate either team stringing together a whole bunch of base hits to score a run.
The funny thing about the conditions tonight, just from the dimension standpoint, after spending the last 3 days at Coors Field in Denver, this place looks like a Little League park, but with the wind blowing in, it's playing like Coors Field with the wind blowing in. Ground ball to third. 2 away.
Oh, what a great outing by Big Z tonight.
Especially with James Russell starting tomorrow night. You just don't know how many innings you're going to get out of the left-hander who could not get through the second last Tuesday. There's James Russell. Milwaukee leading at Philadelphia 3-2 in the ninth. The Brewers got swept in a doubleheader in Washington yesterday. They lead late at Citizens Bank Park. Good outing for Sean Markham tonight. 6 innings, 1 run. It was unearned. Barney bounces. Bartlett will throw him out. 1, 2, 3 for Adams. Let's go to the ninth. Here comes Sean Marshall. Zambrano made his 262nd start, jumping into a 9th place tie on the Cubs all-time list with Larry Corcoran. Sean Marshall, a couple of days ago, made his 163rd relief appearance, passing Frank DiPino for 8th on the Cubs all-time list for most relief games by a lefty, as Chris Denorfia, pinch hitter for Venable, greets him with a single to right to start the inning. Denorfia actually had to leave the game yesterday after making a catch banging up against the wall in Houston. He had a bruised left forearm, but off the bench tonight with a leadoff hit. So they have the first guy in an inning on for the first time.
And a lot of what you can do as a manager or a team when you get a runner on base hinges at where you're at in the lineup. We saw Carlos Pena lead off the bottom half of the 7th with that bunt single. Headley's going to bunt Denorfia up to second base. I was just about to say, with Alfonso Soriano following Pena, no sign of a bunt, no sign of a hit and run. Soriano ended up striking out, and Pena did not score in that inning. But the Padres are configured a little differently, and they're at their 2-hitter in the lineup, so Headley put down a perfect sac bunt.
They've got these switch hitters now turning around to the right side against the lefty Sean Marshall. If the Padres grab the lead, the Cubs will have to face Heath Bell, who would be looking for his 39th consecutive save, and he's playing catch out in the Padre bullpen. 1 strike on Orlando Hudson.
Hudson swinging over the big slider from Sean Marshall. You mentioned Hudson, a switch hitter, has been a little better from the right side of the plate this year, although he has half as many at bats as a right-handed hitter, but 375 as a righty coming into play tonight.
Missed that breaking ball to go to 0-2. Denorfia trying to get as big a lead as possible, and you'd have to think Glenn Hoffman at third base will be very aggressive here on any ball hit into the outfield, even with 1 out.
Glenn Hoffman is usually aggressive under normal circumstances, but you'd have to believe tonight even more aggressive than normal.
Chances have been few and far between for both teams. Called strike 3. No argument from Hudson. That was a fastball. We know Sean Marshall sometimes pitches backwards, as they say. Breaking balls early, and this is what can happen.
Well, you catch a guy guessing on a 2-strike pitch. I mean, that is a center cut fastball right down the middle of the plate. But after flailing at 2 sliders down and in, he's probably looking for the third one and didn't get it.
It'll be Carlos Marmol to face Jorge Cantu. With 2 outs, top of the 9th, runner at second, and we'll be right back. Marmol go after Jorge Cantu. Denorfi at second, 2 outs. A 9th inning scoreless tie. Both these teams accustomed to playing close games here in the early going. As Cantu gets hit by the very first pitch, a slider. They didn't slide.
One other factor from this cold weather, occasionally pitchers have an issue with getting a good grip on the baseball. That time a slider that just backed up and catches Cantu on the upper thigh, putting runners at first and second with 2 outs in the inning for what has been the Padres' most effective run producer this year, Nick Hundley, the catcher.
Strike 1 on a heater. What's going through Hundley's head? Let's see. I've got 2 fastballs to start this at bat. No way he's throwing me another one, right?
Big too much with 2 strikes.
Slider inside.
Yeah, tried to throw the slider one more time. Never took the break.
Got him. Hundley could not hold up. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th, a chance to win it.
Game it has been. And the fact that Aramis Ramirez has our BMW drive of the game, and it was a line out to left field. The hardest hit ball in the game, run down by Ryan Ludwig right on the warning track in left. As always, the BMW Ultimate Drive brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana BMW dealers. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Park Ridge, Illinois native Luke Gregerson will pitch here in the bottom of the 9th. 1 run and it's over. Bird, Ramirez, and Pena. Ball 1.
Power sinker from Luke Gregerson. Right-handers hitting only 188. against the Padre right-hander. Lefty's hitting .417 this season.
Paid crowd 36,597. Fans braving the bitterly cold temperatures tonight. And they have enjoyed a big-time pitcher's duel. 2-1. Gregerson set a major league single season record last year with 40 holds. With the Morton West High School in Berwyn. First move by Maben was back, but then he came way in to make the catch, and that sends Marlon Byrd to an 0-for-4 night. Cubs with only 4 hits, and they've all been singles, and 3 of them have been infield hits. Best hit ball of the night was that Ramirez liner to deep left, no question. I will say one thing about the weather tonight. It has been very consistent. We talk almost every day about how the conditions seem to change at least once during a game. The wind might shift. Oh, look at this ball.
Speaking of wind.
Wow.
It looked like a routine fly ball toward the foul line down the right field corner, but blew way up into the stands. Thank goodness.
The wind direction has been exactly the same since we started. It hasn't died down one iota. Maybe the only thing that's changed is the temperature's gone down a few digits. That's it.
I don't think I've ever seen this particular defensive alignment in the outfield for an opposing team against Aramis Ramirez. Cameron Maben in center field, shaded over toward the gap a little bit. Right fielder DeNorfia now playing shallow and over toward the right field line a little bit. Ryan Ludwig has a lot of room to cover out there in left, center, and down the line in left. If you see this kind of alignment, it pretty much tells you that Gregerson's just going to try to stay away from Aramis Ramirez, and if he does hit it, force him to hit it to the opposite field.
It's play by Headley on the short hop. The ball was hit right at him. Ramirez has hit the ball hard twice and has made an out both times.
First baseman number 22, Carlos Pena.
The hard line drive to left field. Back in the second inning and hit this one like a bullet right at the feet of Headley at third base, who just smothered and threw on for the out. He gets some high fives from his teammates just for squaring one up, even though he didn't get a good result.
Carlos Pena. High fly ball out in the deep left, and again the wind just knocking it down. Pena slams his helmet down. He knows he got it, but not tonight. We're going to extra innings. Congress to get a run. And here comes the snow. We're in the 10th. Cubs playing their first extra inning contest of the year. Padres are 1-2 in extras. Swing and a miss. Ludwig strikes out.
The 3 fastballs in the low 90s. Carlos Marmol throws a slider up there that wasn't really a good one, but what an awkward looking swing from Ryan Ludwig.
Maben taking all the way, strike one.
More fastballs than we're used to seeing from Carlos Marmol in the game tonight. Once again, I think the conditions dictate the pitches you should throw. Uh-oh.
I hope he's all right. Really lost his footing.
It looks like he's going to be all right. Such a violent delivery from Marmol. It came down on the side of that landing hole with the left foot and then slid down into the hole, losing his balance, falling off to the first base side, but able to catch himself and appears to be okay.
Inside on a slider. 2-2. Bartlett next. Into right, gonna hold up for Fukudome. Maben lines out.
Shortstop number 80, Jason Bartlett.
You know, Lynn, it's customary to protect against doubles late in a tie ball game. I don't think I've ever seen a third baseman play that close to the line. And most organizations teach a step and a dive, and you should be able to reach anything that's hit to your right in fair territory. Step and a dive would put him over in the coach's box.
Still on the line, but playing back with 2 strikes is Ramirez. Tell you what, he almost was able to field that, even though it wouldn't have mattered.
Had to be a foul ball, otherwise he'd have caught it.
Another 1-2. We'll do it again.
Bartlett got a pretty good slider to hit right there, inside part of the plate, middle of the thighs, fouled it straight back into Gio's mask.
Slowly hit ground ball. Charged by Castro. Could not make the exchange. And Bartlett is on with an infield single. Bartlett benefited from that ball not being hit very hard. That made Castro try to hurry it up a little bit.
Just kind of a swing as he was running out of the batter's box. Starlin got to it in good shape. I think he would have had a play at first base on Bartlett, but just never found the handle as he went into the glove.
Pinch hitter now for Gregerson. It's former Cub Eric Patterson. Manager out to talk strategy. Bob, remember the spring training game we did in Peoria? Eric Patterson, I think, tripled in his first at bat. Later in the game, hit another ball to right, looked like an easy 3-base hit. He pulled up at second and then was taken out of the game, and we didn't know if it was for lack of hustle or an injury, and we speculated there had to be some sort of injury. Well, he strained his left hamstring, and he started the year on the DL. There wasn't a lack of hustle at all. He was hurt.
We knew it had to be something because Patterson, a big part of his game is his ability to run those bases, and it was just odd to see him on what appeared to be a triple for a guy with his speed to just chug into second base and be content with a 2-bagger.
Become a very versatile guy. Cubs asked him when he was a second baseman to add a little versatility to his resume, and he didn't really want to play the outfield, but he's glad he did in the end. And he's now played more outfield than second base as a big league player. Two. Chad Qualls. Runner goes on an 0-2. Golfed high in the air. Left center. Bird moving over. Makes a catch, and we'll go to the bottom of the 10th. It'll be Soriano to lead it off when we come back. Producer Paula Ostroba, our stage manager in the booth. The executive producer of Cubs baseball is Bob Forwall. Christina Ballas back at our WGN Sports on the U studios. Thanks to our entire crew, especially those braving the weather conditions here at Wrigley Field tonight. Right-hander Chad Qualls to face Alfonso Soriano in the bottom of the 10th. Fly to center. One away.
We talk about a position player being a super utility guy because he can play multiple positions. Qualls is kind of that relief pitcher for the Padres. He's closed games in the past. He's been a long man. He's been a setup guy. At times was used as a right-handed specialist. Kind of a jack of all trades for Bud Black out of that bullpen.
Fukudome is 1 for 3 with an infield hit. You know, I'm not sure what this precipitation is. If it's rain, freezing rain, snow. But it is coming down lightly at the moment. 2-0. Outside, 3 balls, no strikes.
You've got the Tom Skilling snugly, so you should be able to identify this precipitation just by osmosis.
Well, as you look at Kosuke's helmet, it doesn't look terribly wet. I would guess snow, but at any rate, he'll take a walk down to first base.
Well, normally if it was just a regular old-fashioned rain, you would see the water start to drip off the bill of the helmets as the batters take their stance. The gapper.
Well, a gapper tonight means a ball that does not have much elevation. Everything else has been held up and has given the outfielders a chance to get under it. Called strike. I was going to mention this earlier, Bob. Do you notice something different about the Padres this year? Their look, their uniform. They used to have the sand-colored road uniforms. Now they've gone with the more traditional gray. This could be 2. 6-4. That's it. Hudson bobbled as he was trying to get it out of his glove. So let's see if the Cubs can take advantage. It'll be Tyler Colvin to bat in the pitcher spot.
Well, Jason Bartlett has a very unusual sidearm flip, even on his throws to first base, and that time he went up the ladder just a little bit to Orlando Hudson, who couldn't find the handle on it. Keeps the inning going for Tyler Colvin.
I, for one, like the gray. The sand color model, just they always look just a little dirty.
Yeah.
Didn't look clean. And apparently somebody in their marketing department agreed. It's hit foul out of play. Tyler's bobblehead night tomorrow night. Qualls with an 0-1 outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Qualls the only Padre reliever who hasn't been touched for a run this year. Into the right field corner. We'll see if Soto can score. On his way to third, he's going to be sent. And he will score! Cubs win! They missed the cutoff man, and Soto able to score. They're back to 500, a 1-0 victory.